Hey everybody, Chris here from chrisandmarycoast.com, where we help you level up and show the world the best version of yourself. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a piece of a podcast that I did. And in this video, the speaker is using African American Vernacular English, or AAVE. And I want you to pay attention to something very interesting. In African American Vernacular English, sometimes speakers formulate tenses differently. For example, instead of saying, I have worked here, or I haven't worked here, then a speaker might say, I worked here, or I ain't worked here. And this is different from standard American English or standard British English. And so it's really important when you're listening to a speaker to understand if they're speaking in some slang, dialect, or other version of English. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's slang if it's different. But it is important to think about this, that maybe speakers aren't always using standard English. So we can't always judge their speech by the rules of standard English.
He ain't worked here.
Like, he ain't worked here. Like, again, like, I know the person and I know, like, they have not worked here. Like, he ain't worked here. Like, you might want to try, the one across town or whatever. But, like, yeah, he ain't worked here.
Okay. And so this is more like present perfect. We could add in some kind of phrase that shows some amount of time. Like, he ain't worked here in 3 months. Like, he hasn't worked here in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to show you that again, but this time I want you to pay attention to something. The first time that I said this phrase, he ain't worked here, I said it as if I were reading a standard American English phrase. I just said it like a standard phrase. But as soon as EK, the other speaker in the video, says the phrase, you can notice that he changes the intonation and he stresses the last word, here. He says, he ain't worked here. He ain't worked here. And that is because he's stressing the idea that the person hasn't worked at this location or this shop or this place. And notice how I say it differently and how he automatically changes the intonation to include this extra bit of meaning. So listen again. I say, he ain't worked here, and he says, he ain't worked here. And listen to how he blends those last two words, worked and here. So let's watch again and try to pay attention to that.
He ain't worked here.
Like, he ain't worked here. Like, again, like, I know the person and I know, like, they have not worked here. Like, he ain't worked here. Like, you might want to try, the one across town or whatever. But, like, yeah, he ain't worked here.
Okay. And so this is more like present perfect. We could add in some kind of phrase that shows some amount of time. Like, he ain't worked here in 3 months. Like, he hasn't worked here in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.